us this opportunity to read as well as listen to Shivpuran. Thank you, Guruji. So last time we read two chapters, that was chapter 33 and 34 from Rudra Samhita part 2, and we read about how Veerabhadra and Mahakali was born from a matted strand of Rudra. Rudra commanded Veerabhadra to go to the site of sacrifice and destroy everything, slay Daksha. Upon hearing that, Veerabhadra was very delighted, and he set off immediately to follow the command. He was accompanied by thousands and crores of powerful Ganas, heroes, as well as the leaders. His chariot, which he was going on, was actually pulled by 10,000 lions. It was a very, very powerful procession. His bodyguards constituted of many strong lions, tigers, crocodiles, big fishes, thousands of elephants. It was a very, very powerful big processions. Veerabhadra had almost 1,000 strong arms, each like hoods of a serpent king. Mahakali, who was also born out of the strand of Rudra, also went ahead for the destruction of Rudra, and she was accompanied by 9 Durgas, and they were Kali, Katyayani, Isani, Chamunda, Bhadra, Mundavardhani, Vaishnavi, Bhadrakali, and Tvarita. On the other side, Daksha and the other devas, they were seeing all the bad omens. There was a big earthquake on the site of the sacrifice. The Daksha's left eye, left arm, left thigh was throbbing like anything, which in itself is a very bad omen. That was considered at that time. The quarters became dirty. There were many thousands of circlets were seen around the sun, due to which the sun looked like spotted. There were stars which were seen during the daytime, the noon time, and there were many which were fallen off of the sky, and they were blazing fire. There were vultures hovering over Daksha's head, and their shadows had darkened the whole area. Devas, including Daksha, was vomiting blood. They were vomiting pieces of flesh as well as bones. Seeing that, Vishnu and the other devas felt miserable. They were terrified like anything. At that time, they realized that they are doomed, and they all fell unconscious, motionless at that time. They were tossed up in the air with the heavy gushes of wind like anything. Daksha, at that time, celestial voice rose again, and he reminded all of them, including Daksha, of the evil deeds he had done, due to which this great misery is going to befall those who were in favor of Daksha, who were standing with Daksha as well as Daksha. Daksha was very terrified. He was trembling in fear, and at that point of time he sought refuge in Vishnu. So this was what we read our last time, and today we're going to read chapter 35. Our English reader is Rachna Aunty, and our Hindi reader is Raj Aunty. Again, if anybody wants to read Shivpuran in Hindi or English, please come forward. You can contact Seema Aunty or Mansi Aunty. Jai Guruji. Jai Guruji.
Jai Guruji, Shukrana Guruji. I'll be reading chapter 35, Vishnu's statement. Daksha said, O Hari, Vishnu, Lord of Devas, friend of the poor, storehouse of mercy, you must protect me and my sacrifice. You are the guardian of sacrifice. You are identical with the activity of sacrifice, the performer of sacrifice. O Lord, be merciful. Let not the sacrifice be destroyed. Brahma said, thus submitting entreaties of diverse sorts with great respect, in his mental agitation due to fear, he fell at his feet. Vishnu raised Daksha of agitated mind, and on hearing the words of that evil-minded one, Vishnu remembered Shiva. After remembering Shiva, his own lord, Vishnu, the knower of Shiva's principles, said thus, addressing Daksha. Vishnu said, listen, O Daksha, I shall explain everything true to fact. Listen to my words, which are as efficacious as mantras, beneficent and pleasing. Not knowing the principle of Shiva, the great self and lord of everything, you have insulted him. By insulting him, not only does every activity become futile in every respect, but also it engenders adversities at every step. Poverty, death, and fear, these three take place when people worthy of worship are not worshipped and when undeserving people are honored. Hence, with all efforts, the bull-bannered deity shall be respected and revered. A great terror has befallen us because Lord Shiva has been dishonored here. Although we are all lords, we are unable to accomplish anything due to your misdeeds. It is a fact I am mentioning. Brahma said, on hearing these words of Vishnu, Daksha began to ponder. He sat quietly on the ground with his face turned pale. Meanwhile, Veerbhadra, the leader of the Ganas sent by Rudra, came to the place of sacrifice accompanied by his army. Some of his attendants followed him closely. Some came through the sky, and others came from different quarters and subquarters. At the bidding of Shiva, these innumerable heroic, fearless Ganas came there, roaring like lions. By that great sound, the three worlds echoed, and quarters were plunged in darkness. The whole earth, containing the 7 continents, shook with fear. All the oceans, forests, and mountains were excessively agitated. On seeing that vast army of destructive potentiality, Devas and others were quite surprised. On seeing the enterprise activity of the army, Daksha's face turned red with agitation. He fell at the feet of Vishnu straight like a staff, prostrated at his feet along with his wife, and said thus. Daksha said, depending upon you, this great sacrifice was started by me. O Vishnu, great Lord, you are the final authority in the matter of realizing good rites. O Vishnu, you are the cosmic witness of sacred rites and the protector of sacrifices. You are the savior of Vedic virtue, O great Lord. Hence, O Lord, you shall offer protection to my sacrifice here. Who else other than you is competent for it? You are the Lord of all. Brahma said, on hearing these piteous words of Daksha, Vishnu spoke, enlightening Daksha, who was averse to Shiva's principles. Vishnu said, O Daksha, protection shall be offered to your sacrifice. My promise of protecting Dharma is truly well known. You have stated the truth, but you have transgressed the same. O Daksha, listen, I shall tell you. Cast off your cruelty. What transpired at Nemisa, the holy place, in surprisingly mysterious manner is evidently not remembered by you. Did you forget it in your evil way? Who can save you from Rudra's anger? O Daksha, a person who protects you, the wicked one, finds no approval anywhere. An evil-minded man does not see what is good and what is not. A sacred action or rite cannot be efficacious always. You must know that to be your duty, which is naturally efficacious. Except Shiva, none can be the bestower of action. Shiva bestows the fruit of the actions upon the person who is tranquil on account of devotion to the Lord and whose mind is fixed in Him alone. Depending upon knowledge alone, if they eschew devotion to God, they will fall into hell and remain there for hundreds of crores of kalpas. Those who solely depend on actions are bound by its nooses, are born in lives after lives, and are finally scorched and tortured in hells. Here, Veerbhadra, the chief of Rudra's attendants, who suppresses all his enemies and who is born of the fire of Rudra's anger, has now come to the sacrificial yard. There is no doubt in this that he has come for destroying us. There is nothing impossible for him to do, whatever it may be really. It is certain that this great Lord will become tranquil only after burning us all. Since by my mistake I have transgressed the affirmation of Lord Shiva, I too shall bear the miseries along with you. O Daksha, I have no power to prevent this, since I have become an enemy of Shiva by transgressing his affirmation. There can be no happiness to the enemies of Shiva in the 3 periods of time. Misery has of necessity been invited by me along with you. My discus Sudarshana will not hit him. My discus is Saiva, belonging to Shiva, and it can cause the death of only non-Saivas. Even if Veerbhadra had not been here, this discus would have killed us and returned to Shiva. This discus has remained without killing me, although I had transgressed the avowal of Shiva. It indicates that it is compassionate. Hereafter, this discus will not stay with me. With its fiery effusions, it will depart quickly. Even if he is worshipped and honored by us with respect, Veerbhadra will not protect us since he is extremely angry. A sudden dissolution of every one of us is imminent. Alas, it has already set upon us. There is none to offer us refuge in the three worlds. Who can be the refuge of an enemy of Shiva in this world? Even if the body undergoes destruction, the torture at the hands of Yama is in store for us. It is impossible to bear as it generates much misery. On seeing an enemy of Shiva, Yama gnashes his teeth. He puts him in cauldrons of oil and not otherwise. Actually, I was preparing to leave after an open declaration. Still, I did not leave immediately by the contagious sin of this wicked person. Even if we flee from this place, Veerbhadra, the devotee of Shiva, will drag and pull us by means of his weapons. Whether it is heaven or earth, Patala or anywhere else, it is not difficult for the weapons of Veerbhadra to gain access there. Such is the power of every one of the attendants of the trident bearing Rudra. Formerly at Kasi, Kala Bhairava had plucked off the fifth head of Brahma playfully with the tip of his nail. After saying this, Vishnu resumed his seat, his lotus face showing signs of great fear. At the same time, Veerbhadra too reached the sacrificial platform. While Vishnu was saying this, the gods and others saw the vast ocean of the army led by Veerbhadra already come there. This concludes chapter 35. Hindi reading will be done by Aunty. Shukrana Guruji, Jai Guruji.
जय गुरु जी। चैप्टर 35 दक्ष के यज्ञ की रक्षा के लिए भगवान विष्णु से प्रार्थना। भगवान का शिवद्रोह जनित संकट को टालने में अपनी असमर्थता बताते हुए दक्ष को समझाना तथा सेना सहित वीरभद्र का आगमन। दक्ष बोले, देव देव हरे विष्णु दीन बंधो कृपा निधे, आपको मेरी और मेरे यज्ञ की रक्षा करनी चाहिए। प्रभो, आप ही यज्ञ के रक्षक हैं, यज्ञ ही आपका कर्म है और आप यज्ञ स्वरूप हैं। आपको ऐसी कृपा करनी चाहिए जिसे यज्ञ का विनाश ना हो। ब्रह्मा जी कहते हैं, मुनीश्वर, इस तरह अनेक प्रकार से सादर प्रार्थना करके दक्ष भगवान श्री हरि के चरणों में गिर पड़े। उनका चित्त भय से व्याकुल हो रहा था। तब जिनके मन में घबराहट आ गई थी, उन प्रजापति दक्ष को उठाकर और उनको पूर्वोक्त बात सुनकर भगवान विष्णु ने देवादिदेव शिव का स्मरण किया। अपने प्रभु एवं महान ऐश्वर्य से युक्त परमेश्वर शिव का स्मरण करके श्री हरि ने शिव तत्व के ज्ञाता श्री हरि दक्ष को समझाते हुए बोले। श्री हरि ने कहा, दक्ष, मैं तुमसे तत्व की बात बता रहा हूँ, तुम मेरी बात ध्यान देकर सुनो। मेरा ये वचन तुम्हारे लिए सर्वथा हितकारक तथा महामंत्र के समान सुखदायक होगा। दक्ष, तुम्हें तत्व का ज्ञान नहीं है, इसलिए तुमने सबके अधिपति परमात्मा शंकर की अवहेलना की है। ईश्वर की अवहेलना से सारा कार्य सर्वथा निष्फल हो जाता है। केवल इतना ही नहीं, पग पग पर विपत्ति भी आती है। जहाँ अपूज्य पुरुषों की पूजा होती है और पूजनीय पुरुष की पूजा नहीं की जाती, वहाँ दरिद्रता, मृत्यु तथा भय, ये तीनों संकट अवश्य प्राप्त होंगे। इसलिए संपूर्ण प्रयत्न से तुम्हें भगवान विषभ ध्वज का सम्मान करना चाहिए। महेश्वर का अपमान करने से ही तुम्हारे ऊपर महान भय उपस्थित हुआ है। हम सब लोग प्रभु होते हुए भी आज तुम्हारी दुर्नीति के कारण जो संकट आया है उसे टालने में समर्थ नहीं है। ये मैं तुमसे सच्ची बात कहता हूँ। ब्रह्मा जी कहते हैं, नारद, भगवान विष्णु का ये वचन सुनकर दक्ष चिंता में डूब गए। उनके चेहरे का रंग उड़ गया और वे चुपचाप पृथ्वी पर खड़े रह गए। इसी समय भगवान रुद्र के भेजे हुए गण नायक वीरभद्र अपनी सेना के साथ यज्ञ स्थल में जा पहुंचे। वे सब के सब बड़े शूरवीर, निर्भय तथा रुद्र के समान ही पराक्रमी थे। भगवान शंकर की आज्ञा से आए हुए उन गणों की गणना असंभव थी। वे वीर शिरोमणि रुद्र सैनिक जोर जोर से सिंहनाद करने लगे। उनके उस महानाद से तीनों लोग गूंज उठे। आकाश धूल से ढक गया और दिशाएं अंधकार से आवृत हो गईं। सातों द्वीपों से युक्त पृथ्वी अत्यंत भय से व्याकुल हो पर्वत, वन और कानों सहित कांपने लगी तथा संपूर्ण समुद्रों में ज्वार आ गया। इस प्रकार समस्त लोकों का विनाश करने में समर्थ उस विशाल सेना को देखकर समस्त देवता आदि चकित हो गए। सेना के घोष को देख दक्ष के मुंह से खून निकल आया। वे अपनी स्त्री को साथ ले भगवान विष्णु के चरणों में दंड की भांति गिर पड़े और इस प्रकार बोले। दक्ष ने कहा, विष्णु महाप्रभु, आपके बल से ही मैंने इस महान यज्ञ का आरंभ किया था। सत्कर्म की सिद्धि के लिए आप ही प्रमाण माने गए हैं। विष्णु, आप कर्मों के साक्षी तथा यज्ञों के प्रतिपालक हैं। महाप्रभु, आप वैदोक्त धर्म ब्रह्मा जी के रक्षक हैं। अतः प्रभु, आपको मेरे इस यज्ञ की रक्षा करनी चाहिए, क्योंकि आप सबके प्रभु हैं। ब्रह्मा जी कहते हैं, दक्ष की अत्यंत दीनतापूर्ण बात सुनकर भगवान विष्णु उस समय शिव तत्व से विमुख हुए दक्ष को समझाने के लिए इस प्रकार बोले। श्री विष्णु ने कहा, दक्ष, इसमें संदेह नहीं कि मुझे तुम्हारे यज्ञ की रक्षा करनी चाहिए, क्योंकि धर्म परिपालन विषयक जो मेरी सत्य प्रतिज्ञा है वह सर्वत्र विख्यात है। परंतु दक्ष, मैं जो कुछ कहता हूँ उसे तुम सुनो। इस समय अपनी क्रूरतापूर्ण बुद्धि को त्याग दो। देवताओं के क्षेत्र नैमिष अरण्य में जो अद्भुत घटना घटित हुई थी उसका तुम्हें स्मरण नहीं हो रहा? क्या तुम अपनी कुबुद्धि के कारण उसे भूल गए? यहाँ कौन भगवान रुद्र के कोप से तुम्हारी रक्षा करने में समर्थ है? दक्ष, तुम्हारी रक्षा किसको अभिमत नहीं है, परंतु जो तुम्हारी रक्षा करने को उद्यत होता है वह अपनी दुर्बुद्धि का ही परिचय देता है। दुर्मते, क्या कर्म है और क्या अकर्म, इसे तुम नहीं समझ पा रहे हो। केवल कर्म ही कभी कुछ करने में समर्थ नहीं हो सकता। जिसके सहयोग से कर्म में कुछ करने की सामर्थ्य आती है उसी को तुम स्वकर्म समझो। भगवान शिव के बिना दूसरा कोई कर्म से कल्याण करने की शक्ति देने वाला नहीं है। जो शांत हो, ईश्वर में मन लगाकर उनकी भक्ति पूर्वक कार्य करता है, उसी को भगवान शिव तत्काल उस कर्म का फल देते हैं। जो मनुष्य केवल ज्ञान का सहारा ले अनीश्वरवादी हो जाते हैं या ईश्वर को नहीं मानते, वे शतकोटि कल्पों तक नरक में पड़े रहते हैं। फिर वे कर्म पाश में बंधे हुए जीव प्रत्येक जन्म में नरकों की यातना भोगते हैं, क्योंकि वे केवल सकाम कर्म के ही स्वरूप का आश्रय लेने वाले होते हैं। ये शत्रु मर्दन वीरभद्र जो यज्ञशाला के आंगन में आ पहुंचे हैं, भगवान रुद्र की क्रोधाग्नि से प्रकट हुए हैं। इस समय समस्त रुद्र गणों के नायक यही हैं। हम लोगों के विनाश के लिए आए हैं, इसमें संशय नहीं है। कोई भी कार्य क्यों न हो, वस्तुतः इनके लिए कुछ भी अशक्य है ही नहीं। ये महान सामर्थ्यशाली वीरभद्र सब देवताओं को अवश्य जलाकर ही शांत होंगे, इसमें संशय नहीं जान पड़ता। मैं भ्रम से महादेव जी की शपथ का उल्लंघन करके जो यहाँ ठहरा रहा, उसके कारण तुम्हारे साथ मुझे भी इस कष्ट का सामना करना ही पड़ेगा। भगवान विष्णु इस प्रकार कह ही रहे थे कि वीरभद्र के साथ शिव गणों की सेना का समुद्र उमड़ आया। समस्त देवता आदि ने उसे देखा। चैप्टर अध्याय 35 समाप्त। शुक्राना गुरु जी, शुक्राना संगत जी।